Hi all, welcome back. This is again Bill Bernhard from 120 VC, and today we're looking at the fourth and final pillar to running a world-class project management organization. So in our previous videos, we learned how to have a world-class project intake system. From there, we looked at, for those projects that made it through and were approved and ready for execution, we looked at how to create a consistent, repeatable project management lifecycle process and experience. And we also looked at the interrelationship there to the automated real-time portfolio aggregation. So what we're going to look at now is making sure, this is obviously super important to the success of any project or portfolio, that you have the correct resources for the execution of these projects. Implementing a system like this puts you ahead of the vast majority of PMOs out there, frankly, in the world. So often, it is so murky the way that PMOs work with different departments to secure required resources for the successful execution of their projects. In turn, that makes timelines and everything else and the relationship between time and money and budgets so difficult to stand by. Well, implementing a system like this zooms you light years into the future in the sense that you can effectively, on one sheet of paper, so to speak, understand the capacity of your organization, the commitments, therefore, that can be made, securing the ability to execute these projects on time and on budget based on the required resources. It also creates a lot of accountability, because if you can have a system that says this developer or that QA person, etc., is committed to working on this project 20 hours a week or 40 hours a week, whatever it is, it's a magical thing that happens, because there it is in lights that accountability is expected. There's no more, well, I was doing other this, and I was doing this or that, etc. This is the allocations. The idea, the theory is that they're approved by their managers, etc. You're really creating a massive amount of accountability and efficiency. It also allows you to plan projects and the timings of which you can start projects in the future. If you can look at a screen view, as we're going to do here in a minute, and understand that you do not have a free developer in the organization for 3 months, then you can stand up and say, we can't start this project for 3 months unless we pull people off of other existing projects, as opposed to just projects coming into the PMO and saying, all right, PMO, figure it out, get it started today. All right, so let's look at some of the ways that we can actually see this kind of information and make decisions about projects and prioritizations for resources accordingly. So what we're doing and what we're using here is an add-on product that is supplied and offered by Smartsheet. There are great integration opportunities where you can automate resource allocations through Smartsheet core into here, just creating even more efficiencies. So we're going to focus in this video just really on the features and the views that come from within the native resource management application. But please feel free to contact me or 120 for more detail about some of the integration automation between core Smartsheet and the resource management add-on system that we're looking at. So effectively, with any resource allocation management system, there are 3 ways of looking at things for determining resource availability, capacity planning, etc. Those 3 things are people, projects, and overall capacity, right? So for example, if we wanted to get a look at, and I'm looking at sort of a monthly view here, we wanted to get a look at what's going on with a particular role, right? So let's say we know we have a project that's coming up and we know it's going to require a couple of QA people. You see what I did there? I basically just did a quick filter and I said, show me all of my QA. Right? And we know that we have a project that's coming up in June. Well, what does this tell me, this great sort of quick view that I have? It tells me that I do have some availability. It looks like I have Connor available 50% of the time, and I have a couple of people here who are 25%. So I could potentially allocate them to that new project. By the way, just something interesting here, I also see that I have something of concern here with Finn Walsh in the sense that he is over allocated, right? So let's say you have 2 project managers and they both feel like Finn is their person. is probably what happened here. So they both allocated him to the project. Now, in the real world, that probably happens all the time, and Finn is sitting there wondering, okay, well, what am I supposed to do? In a system like this, if that happens, and two people sort of make a claim to that resource, you're going to get this bar. And that will allow you to say, as a manager or whoever is going to make this decision, the PM or maybe the head of QA, et cetera, say, hey, time out, that's not okay. So here's what you can do. You can have Finn for 50% of the time. And you, PM, you can update your schedule accordingly if you need to expand and extend your project timeline due to having a little bit less time for Finn. Notice when I made that allocation change, it took away that sort of red sort of alert that's saying that he's overallocated. So that's, again, a great way of looking at aggregated resources by type. Another sort of concept for a filter here, and this is something that I think comes up a lot as well, is you can create tags for whether someone is a contractor or a full-time employee. A lot of organizations take great sort of strides to make sure that, first and foremost, you're allocating contractors full-time before maybe even full-time employees, because you're paying for them potentially to have downtime. So what does this tell us, right? So I just did a contractor view of all my QA, but maybe I want to say, show me all my contractors. All right, so now I have all my different sort of roles that I have in here and my contractors, and I say, okay, yeah, like through July here, we're looking pretty good. I've got to figure out something to do for Connor. Maybe I can sort of, since I'm paying for him 100% of the time, maybe I can also allocate him to another project. Looks like he's working on the USA headquarters system upgrade, but I can say, you know what, I'm going to also put him on the Finland expansion project, and I'm going to see this great feature. I'm going to say, up through here, up through maybe the end of July, I'm going to allocate him. Well, see what I did there? I put him in at 100%, so it created that little alert for me that I've got him over allocated. But I'm going to maybe put him down to 50%. That's how easy it is to get that snapshot view of my resources and make adjustments in real time automatically. I can prevent under allocations. I can prevent over allocations. I can even sort of look by, if you have the system configured and set up this way, I can look at resources by country if that's relevant to you. So maybe I want to see sort of what's going on in India. How well are we maximizing the Indian office? Well, pretty good. It looks like we're doing a pretty good job there. Everybody looks like allocated 100%, right? And then maybe in a slightly higher cost market like Japan, how are we doing there? Well, we're doing okay. Looks like I have one of those situations where I've had two people, two PMs, two projects make a claim for Haruki. That's not okay. We'll have to go back and eventually update that. But I also see that starting in August, I have some availability, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The other view, which is useful, is a project view, right? So we just looked at the collective people view. This now tells me, in this project view, what's going on? How is my sort of mix of resources for each project? Does this make sense, right? Okay, yeah, this looks about right. I've got really everything I need here for the different roles. I know that this one's starting in April. Yep, I've got Bill ready to go. I've got Maria. That's exactly who I need at those particular allocations on through the remaining life cycle. Last view is this capacity view. And this will tell us, in this case, I'm grouping it by role. How are we doing? How are we spreading out based on role? Okay. What I think the best sort of component of this is if, for example, you are consistently seeing that you're over allocated. It's a very marginal over allocation for BAs, but it does tell you have a demand issue for your business analysts. So maybe if you're seeing, whatever your rule might be, if you're consistently seeing 120% demand on your BAs, maybe it's time to hire someone. And likewise, if you're consistently seeing low demand, right, 50%, 60%, maybe you're over indexed on, a particular role, right? What makes this successful, of course, and what all this great data will not be there for you unless you implement this fully, right? For every project, whoever job it's going to be, whether it's the QA manager or the development manager or the project managers, if you have everyone in here in the system for all of your projects, you're going to, as you're seeing, you're going to be armed with incredibly insightful data. You're going to be able to solve under allocations, over allocations, and the like very quickly. And you're going to be really positioned to make great decisions for your organization, efficient, money-conscious, intelligent decisions. There are all kinds of neat roll-up reports that you can do here. So for example, right, your executive says, hey, how are we doing? What's going on? Tell me kind of the lay of the land. Are we using our resources well? You can run these great analytics reports, right? So let's say I'm going to run a utilization report and I want to say, what's going on? You know, hey, PMO director, what's going on for the next 90 days with all your projects? All right, well, I'm going to say, sure, I can run your report. So I'm going to say, I'm going to create a report here showing the utilization for the next 90 days by role and then by team member. Check this out. All right, what does that tell me? My overall utilization, 87%. Target utilization is 100%. For my BAs, overall utilization, 93%. For my developers, it's 86%. My PMs, it's 84%, on down the line. And then, of course, a breakout by person. And then again, some of the things that we were doing, for example, we want to, you can have different sort of tags for the developers, right? Well, show me all my JavaScript people, all my Python people, and on down the like. Really, you can sort of slice this data however you want. That's it. Thank you very much for watching. Resource management systems can just take your organization really to the next level in terms of awareness, in terms of intelligent decisions that they position you to make.